What's up, Ham Radio? Kilo Echo 8, Papa Zulu November, the Ham Radio Adventure Guy, and it's Hump Day Happy Hour. We got a great show scheduled for you tonight. I'm really excited about it. We're going to talk about chasing satellites, something I've really been wanting to get into, and I've been wanting to do a more technician-friendly live stream, and this would be a great one because, technicians, generals, extras, they all love to do chasing satellites. And I'm really excited about it. And I got a good friend of mine. I've known him for quite a while, KE7RTB, and he's been doing this stuff for a good while. So we're going to bring him on out and talk to him. What's going on, Andy?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. Can't complain. Got nice weather. It's not raining on me here in Tacoma, Washington.
Roger that. Yeah, sky looks beautiful there, and we had a...
Sorry, turning it down.
That's fine. We had a lot of rain here in West Virginia today, but it looks pretty there. I know I was talking to you earlier, and I thought you had a daggone green screen, and then you moved, and I was like, oh, that's real. But tell us a little bit about yourself before we start with some questions here.
Well, I'm Kilo Echo 7 Romeo Tango Bravo, return to base. I've been a licensed ham 15 plus years. I'm only a technician. I'm working on my general. I do all my satellite chasing with a 5-watt HT, the Yaesu FT3 Delta Romeo. I got it connected to an antenna right now. I use the 5-element elk antenna, and I like it so much I bought a second one, and I take it to work. I'm a DoD security contractor, guarding missile cruisers in Seattle, Washington, which is 30 miles to the north. I'm on Elliott Bay. You can find me quite often on AmericaLink. So I got a nice fusion repeater in my area there that I monitor. And I chase International Space Station, all the FM birds. There's two types of birds. There's the linear birds, which are on sideband, and the FM birds. I am not astute enough yet to work the linear birds. I just recently acquired a ICOM 9100, so I can work those. But currently, I'm quite savvy with the FT3 Delta Romeo and working FM birds: AO91, AO92, SO50, PO101, and the International Space Station and AO27. You can find most of this information on amsat.org. That's amsat.org. I am an AMSAT member, and this month will be 1 full year that I've been chasing the birds.
Roger that. But see, you're exactly what I wanted to bring onto the show, because I'm wanting to find some things to help get technicians more interested in ham radio, to keep them in ham radio. And like you said, you've been a licensed operator for 15 years and you're still a technician. So evidently you've definitely found some stuff that interests you in ham radio to keep you going. I know when I first got my technician, I basically did it because my father had passed and he always wanted me to do it. And, when I first got it, I jumped on the local repeater and it was dead. And luckily I had a friend and he introduced me to DMR. And when I got into DMR, that's where I met you and a lot of really cool guys. And, we used to stay up all night chasing countries all over the place. So there's a lot of things that technicians can do. And I think this is really one, because, even a lot of generals and extras are out there still chasing satellites. So I'm really excited to have you on there and tell us a little bit about it. You want to start with maybe what got you interested in satellites?
Well, I've been a ham for 15 years. I've played with DMR. I like VHF, UHF repeaters. I'm a member of one of the oldest ham radio clubs in the United States of America. That's Whiskey 7 Delta Kilo. It's a 105-year-old club. I'm quite involved in that. I like contesting. I like field day. In September of last year, I was diagnosed with cancer. And you can sit and wallow and cry and moan, or you can set a bar and try to attain it. and the bar that I've set for myself is Gridmaster. There's 488 grids in the continental United States of America. PZN has a map he can post here a little later. I have 162 grids confirmed right now. When you make a QSO with a satellite with another operator on the satellite, you enter it into LOTW, and then they enter it into LOTW. And once it's confirmed, you get a gold star or a green confirmation. Then you color your Excel spreadsheet green, and you start filling it in. And there's certain guys out there that are called rovers. I'm in Charlie November H7. That's my grid square. And that's all I can operate from right now until I go out and rove. Now, if you rove, you don't get that spot, but you're helping other operators who need that grid to get that grid. So I'm going to pass it back to John. I'm losing my train of thought here, and I don't want to get off our script here that we have. Go ahead.
Roger that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to post your map up here for a second so they can see exactly what you were talking about.
Okay. The green stuff there are confirmed grids. And if you look on the far right, you see that I've talked to almost New York. I've talked to New York. The yellow ones are communications I've made with people, but they haven't confirmed them. If you see blue there, they confirmed it via QSL card. I have to take that QSL card to an ARRL checker to get it verified. But sometimes in the interim while I'm waiting to get that verified, I may make contact from that same grid from another licensed operator who utilizes ARRL or LOTW, and then that negates that, because in a perfect world, you want the LOTW guy to confirm that grid for you. If you see red ones, all those red squares there are people that I've logged. I haven't made contact with them, but I clearly heard their call and their grid square. So when I get desperate and down to the wire, I can reach out to that operator and ask them if they do a sched with me, which is a scheduled contact. So I'll find the ideal satellite that's passing over that will acquire them and me and ask them to get on and allow me to work them. Then I get another green square. The blue ones are ones that I've made via APRS with the ISS. So some of the green squares in there, I have confirmed people via APRS with the ISS, which is still satellite communications, and I get a green square once they confirm it on LOTW.
Roger that. All right, let's go ahead and put this back down here. So yeah, you got 166 out of 400 and some, and all that. You seen he talked all the way out to New York. All that's on a little 5-watt radio. You want to show them your antenna setup there? You got
the antenna that I have here. Real quick before I go off track.
Okay.
I get Canadian stations in Nova Scotia, further than New York, that I've made contact with. They won't show up on the grid because they're extra, but they still count as my VUCC. So I'm going to turn my laptop here to my antenna. That is a 5-element elk antenna. And you see the square at the top there? I made that to where I can articulate and point degrees in inclination and declination. And it's very rudimentary, but with my compass and my apps, I can hand turn it, and I can track the bird on the full pass as the bird is going overhead. The best is a visual pass, i.e. the ISS, which you occasionally have. It's an LEO, which is known as a low Earth orbit satellite. And when you can visually see that satellite, with my 5 watts, I'm locked on and I'm walking all over everybody else because I'm line of sight into that satellite.
Right. So yeah, you were telling me earlier that one of the most important things about chasing satellite is actually staying with the bird as it's going through. And can you give some of the viewers some tips? I know there's several of the guys out there that have had, they've tried chasing satellites and they're not having a lot of success. maybe you could give them some tips on how to stay with the bird.
Okay, so you have an uplink and a downlink. On the birds that have a UHF or 70 centimeter downlink, Doppler plays great deal into the satellite. So I don't have information in front of me, but we'll say 437 500, maybe the downlink for a bird. To adjust for Doppler, you need to have 5 frequencies into your radio. So the primary listed frequencies of the ISS I have in channel allocation number 3. I then do 0.05 down and 0.10 down as 1 and 2, and then 0.5 up and 0.10 up as 4 and 5. So when the bird is coming from the horizon towards me, I'm going to be on channel 5. Then it gets closer, I go to channel 4. You can usually hear it and tune it as you need to. You also need to be aware that that bird is traveling at 17,500 miles per hour, and they tumble. They don't just drive in a straight line, they tumble. Therefore, you may need to rotate your wrist on the antenna and get a stronger signal, tune it in that way. So there's a lot of moving parts in playing with a bird. Don't be discouraged. You'll also notice sometimes if you use the proper application, there's heavens above. I prefer ISS detector. That you might not hear the bird until 800 miles or 1,000 miles. So you trial and error. You just practice, and play. Just because the app says you should be able to hear the bird, it's in the footprint, but you're not maybe going to hear the bird. I just had KE7RTB pull up. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm going to pull a satellite up right now. The ISS is coming over me in 34 minutes. Okay, but there is a circle there. I'm going to go big screen on this. So there's the circle. So that green circle is the footprint of the bird. The bird is moving. It won't be to me. Now there's the blue dot. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this just right. The dot is me. The yellow is the bird path. And that's where I should have contact with the bird. So it's going to go below me at that time that I said, which is 34 minutes and 11 seconds. Now the ISS is the most used bird. So it's the hardest bird to use because every newbie grabs their $35 Baofeng and wants to get on there and play with it. Yes, you can get on and use the Baofengs, but cry once, buy once. The best equipment is going to give you the best opportunity into the bird. Back to you, my friend.
Roger that. Yes. So like I said, I've seen a lot of people, and they'll have their apps out, and they'll like it's getting ready to come over to heel here, and they're holding it, and they're trying, and not getting a lot of luck and stuff like that. So like you said, it's just going to be some trial and error and stuff like that. But I would suggest getting the apps and practice and stuff like that for sure. Any more good tips for like a brand new person to do it?
I'm not trying to advertise a plug here, but go to QRZ.com and look up my call, Kilo Echo 7, Romeo Tango Bravo, return to base. And I have tips and tricks.
A couple good tips is getting a recording for calls.
And I got tips on there that are good pointers. There's a lot of newbies. You do not call CQ on the FM birds. You can call CQ on the linear birds. A linear bird, you're going to be all alone and pretty much own the pass. The FM birds, everybody's out there, and it can be a free-for-all. Rovers take precedence if they are on a pass or a line. So you got grids, grid squares, and grid lines, and grid corners. So if someone is physically in 4 grids on a grid corner, he's God. Don't interrupt them. Let them run. Make contact with them so you get 4 grids at that one pass, but then step off. Don't talk to somebody else that you get all the time or can talk to. Another thing, very, very, very important is recording. My Foxtrot 3 Delta Romeo has a built-in recorder because you can't remember it. It's a 6-minute pass, 10 minutes and 12 minutes at tops. Yeah, he's got his FT3DR. There's a little chip in the side. I record every one of my passes. I did use a Sony recorder at first, but it picks up too much ambient noise and too much traffic and other stuff, and you won't get the full call. A very important thing that I do and love that I just learned on my own is I record every pass, and even if I don't make a QSO with someone, I log that call and grid square into an Excel spreadsheet that I did. So later on, if I only get partial of the call, a good partial of the call, I can Control C or Control F and find that call in there because they're regulars and they're on all the time. Until you build a rapport with them, you know who they are. Another very important thing is Twitter. Twitter and the ham satellite bird community is very big because guys post their passes. So we got a gentleman, Whiskey 7 Lima Tango from Alaska, that is going to work the whole coastline of Washington State, CN 70, 71, 72, 73. That is mountainous Olympic mountains. There's not a lot of ham operators that reside in those areas. So they're key. The grid rovers are key for me to get those hard to work grids. Did I answer your question, sir?
You sure did. Let's see here. Hey, Keith, if you don't care, go to Andy's QRZ page and post a link in the chat. That way, if people want to go look at those tips, they can. And I've seen a question here. Liberty Cave wants to know, what about the various fixed satellite antenna options, say the Helix?
I don't know a whole lot about the Helix or the disc cones. I do the best. Okay. I have I got the FT3 Delta Romeo. I have the DR 7250, and I do make contacts in my car going to work and back on PO 101 and the ISS. So you don't have to have a Yagi, yet, however, you're not going to get the full pass on the horizon. So it may come in at 0 degrees and then come up to 70 degrees and then go back out at 0 degrees. You're only going to get the opportunity window that your dipole car mobile antenna and the 40 watts, 50 watts, give you. I do a lot with this 5 watts in handheld. I got a buddy out of Colorado, Alpha 0 Charlie Whiskey, that works 1 watt, and he's working hard to fulfill his Gridmaster sheet with a 1 watt portable and his elk antenna. I think he's using the Arrow. Arrow makes a phenomenal antenna as well. So there's different antennas. Just because I use one, it works, but those hard to reach grids, I need better equipment. So back to you, my friend.
Roger that. Now, I know we're going a little bit off topic here, but one thing that I'm very interested in talking to you about, because I am, as everybody knows, a big Parks on the Air guy. And I happen to know that you have made satellite contacts with POTA stations. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Kilo India 7 Quebec Echo Kilo is quite the POTA chaser and bird chaser. And I'm signed up with POTA. I haven't gone and done activations yet. However, I signed up early, and then I went and checked my stuff after talking with Kilo Echo 8 Papa Zulu November, James, and I got 17 satellite contacts on POTA in 8 different states just by having a QSO with fellow bird guys. And I didn't, 2 or 3 of them I realized were POTA, but I didn't realize that the plethora 17 that I have that were POTA. So that was quite amusing to me.
Right. So when they're doing POTA on satellite, they're not calling Parks on there and nothing. They're just
sometimes, most of the time they are, but you got a 6-minute pass or a 10-minute pass. I'm just excited to hear my call come back and get a QSO, Charlie November 87. So real quick, since you opened the door and got my head going now, You call when a bird is. You don't call blindly. That's called blind calling. You hear someone or you hear someone talking, you throw it out there. Kilo Echo 7, Romeo Tango Bravo. And if they call your call back, then you finish with Charlie November, QSL, Charlie November 87. They want your grid, you need their grid. You may have had them before, you may not have, but you've got a solid QSL when you've called out their grid and they've called out, you've called out your grid and they've called out theirs. Then you move on to the next satellite. So sitting there, hey, what park you in? But you don't got that much time. It's on to the next one, or there's somebody standing by that wants to get a piece of that bird as well.
Roger. So I'm like totally, I'm lost when it comes to satellites, and I'd love to do it. But now, all right, so you're chasing grids. Is the grid that they give you the grid that they're going over at that time, or?
No, it's the grid that they're physically standing in. So if they're in a grid line, say I travel, I'm in my backyard now, and at work, it's the same grid. But if I go up to a grid line and take a photo of it and show them, I'm in CN87, CN88, I'm giving 2 grids out when I make a QSO with someone else. So that person gets to color 2 colors on their map because I'm in grid line, Charlie November, 8788. That means I'm standing physically on 2 grids. If I'm in a corner, I got to call out all 4 grids. That's kind of complex and takes a lot of time. But if you've been listening and heard me, 87, 88, 84, 85, whatever, in that corner, you get all 4 of those.
Nice. That's cool. Gary wants to know if you know of a decent omnidirectional antenna for working satellites.
I have on my car. I have the it's a 70 centimeter. Oh my goodness, diamond. I have a diamond antenna on my car, 100 watt capable, and you'll make some contacts, but they'll be far and few between. You need to direct your signal pinpoint to that bird or the near vicinity of that bird. And I'm talking inclination, declination, as well as compass heading. You can't just point it out. You'll get a few contacts, but you're not going to be as successful. You're not going to be that successful.
Right. And the apps that you showed, that tells you basically which way to do the declination and everything?
Yes, it does, and it changes. It's constantly changing. So you got horizon from horizon. So I'll pull up just so I'll pull up my system here now. So this is the ISS that's coming by in 24 minutes. So currently it is 6,504 miles away from me, and it is at 40 degrees of longitude, 172 longitude, 40 degrees latitude. It's at 40 degrees and going down. So there's a lot of moving parts here on ISS detector. And then that's one screen. I then have a radar screen right here that helps me and shows me. It's not going to move now because it's not in my view, but you see the arrow there. And
right.
Then at the dot at the maximum point, we'll show you the maximum inclination will be 15 degrees. That'll be a 13-degree pass when it travels directly overhead. So there's a lot of moving parts. I'm not a know-it-all, but you'll learn when you use the tools in front of you. I have 2 phones because I don't trust them. I got the iPhone and I have a Samsung Note 10. So I can run them both with the app. And then when I know that AO91 is coming over and 6 minutes later AO92 is coming over, I need to be able to flip on the switch on the fly, shut my recording off, start a new recording, and get that second bird so I can get 2 birds on one pass.
Nice. And yeah, your buddy John and my buddy John as well is in the chat, and he said as far as antenna, it's based on the budget that you can buy. Like for himself, he uses a 17 element Yagi to get into the ISS repeater.
And he has it fixed at his house pointing to the north. So he gets in a lot on the northerly passes. I have a 12 element myself. I just haven't got it up yet. But he's been quite successful with his antenna on northerly passes to his location.
Roger that. John, how many grid squares do you have? Post it in the chat for us. We'll call him out. So we were talking about stuff that interests technicians, and this stuff is great. But you have any other things that would really interest technicians you think of?
Fox hunt or rabbit hunt.
I was gonna say that. I mean, there's fox hunting. There's SSS TV,
APRS.
APRS. You can do APRS. In your car. You can do it walking. You can do it on a bike. Do you do any APRS?
I do APRS, but I primarily do it via satellites.
Nice.
Because that's another confirmed QSO, and it turns the grid green.
Very, very cool.
And APRS may travel further at times too. Get me into those rare grids.
Roger that. So, what about like satellite awards for the people that like to chase the awards? Do they have certain awards like POTA does and stuff, or?
Yes, ARRL. I strongly urge you to get LOTW. There's Worked All States. There's VUCC Grid, Grid Masters, Rovers. You get your first award at 100 grids. Canada, I got a lot of Canadian grids on my first 100, and then you get a new stamp every 25. I wait until I get 50 and send that in and get a 50 stamp instead of the 25, and I'm at 179 right now.
Nice. John says he has 202 confirmed grids.
Good.
So
he's got me beat.
Another good satellite chaser. All right. Another thing I wanted to talk about is a lot of people don't think about, when I was a technician, I would get on my dad's HF where he passed, and I would try to work, some 10 meter and stuff. And the bands were horrible, but I know you do some 10 meter FT8 and have had a little bit of luck with that.
I had better luck with the 6 meter magic band than I have with the 10 meter band, but I have dabbled in the 10 meter voice. I got clear into Tennessee. On my pier in Seattle, Pier 5, I have a Buddy Pull Master Deluxe, so I can configure that however I want to. Sloping V has been the best format for me right now. However, 6 meters kind of just dropped, so I have 400 FT8 QSOs on 6 meters. I have like 20 or 25 on 10 meters. I've had better luck with 6 than 10, but with my situation with my health and wanting to get more opened up to me, I'm ready to take my general and step it up a notch there.
Roger that. But I mean, 400 and some QSOs on 10 meter or 6 meter FT8. That's pretty awesome, because a lot of people who do FT8 have probably never even been on 6 meter FT8. So, I know I've never been on 6 meter FT8, and I do FT8 all the time. So
when it's hot, it's hot.
So for you guys that are still techs, we're giving you plenty of options on how to keep yourself interested while you're studying for your general. Yeah, of course, I would say study for your general, of course, but there's plenty to do. I know I stayed happy when I was a tech. We would get on DMR half the night, and we would all be on different stations, and if somebody found a country that the other ones was looking for, we'd yell at each other and stuff. It was great. So a lot of good stuff, a lot of fun stuff.
John and myself are both also licensed GMRS operators here, and we got quite the following of GMRS, and it's kind of the gateway drug into ham radio. And they do on Saturday nights a ham study deal where they read off questions and you all have to answer it, and it's another good thing there. I am also a radio restricted telephone operator, which comes in handy on the dock. I can talk to planes when they fly overhead. I can legally talk to vessels. You're not allowed to talk to boats unless you're another boat on the water. You're not supposed to have land-based communications with a vessel in the water unless you are a restricted radio telephone operator.
Nice. And how does somebody become one of those?
That is a $75. You take it's not even a test. You fill out an application and pay $75 to the FCC under your ULS licensing.
So it's kind of like a GMRS deal.
It is, but it's lifetime.
Oh, it's lifetime. Nice.
Yes.
Let's see if we got any more questions out here. I'm not seeing any. I know there was a couple people that had told me they had questions earlier, but let me make sure that we don't have any.
Thank you for this opportunity, James.
Oh, no problem, man. It's no problem whatsoever. You know, like I said, I met Andy when I was a technician I actually met him on 91 Worldwide. No, well, I didn't meet him on 91 Worldwide. I met his buddy Ray, and he went crazy one night calling out for me. Ray did, and he's like, and I'm like, what is this guy calling me for? So I come back to him, and they had another friend who actually has PZN as the last of his call sign. So
Kilo Echo 3.
Right. So they wanted me to join their what is that app called?
Zello.
Their Zello app, so I could talk to the other PZN. And it was quite funny because I joined it, and then for like 2 or 3 months, you know, I'm always getting on there and calling out my call sign and stuff. And I talked to everybody in the world, and then I'd get off the app and go to bed or something, and they'd say like 3 minutes later he'd come on, and then he'd get off and I'd get back on there. And I started to like, you guys are just messing with me. This guy don't even exist. But yeah, we've had some good times. I used to say that Andy would go to these other countries and actually flip over people's houses to get them to confirm on QRZ. He's like the master of getting people to confirm that won't confirm. So
108 countries.
108. I'm still like at 67, but
Malta, Gibraltar.
Well,
that ain't real radio. That's just like talking on a phone.
Listen, all the old timey extras, they have their thing, and I'll tell you the maddest I made one was he was talking trash about FT8 one day, and I told him, I was like, it's just new age CW. Oh my goodness! I thought he was gonna have an aneurysm right there. Oh, we've had some good times, that's for sure. But actually, speaking of DMR, I wanted to give a shout out to the guys on the Shark net. I'm going to give you their stuff right now because they're really cool guys. And if anybody's looking for like a digital net to go on to, these guys are really good. You can find it at KC1NOC.com. But I'll give you that. They're on TGIF Friday. And let me find it here real quick because I wanted to give them a shout out tonight. Several of them actually watched the show on replay and stuff like that. So here we go. They're on TGIF Friday on room number 23456. And they do a net on Monday night at 8 o'clock, Friday night at 9 o'clock, and then they do one on Saturday. It's around noon or so. I'm not sure. But you can go to KC1NOC.com and find out all the information. And if you want a great group of guys just to sit and talk with on digital, check them out. They're really good guys. They're really helpful too.
Hey, I got one more quick thing here. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was stopping for what you got.
So John, KE7RTB, is a member of Whiskey 7 Delta Kilo Radio Club. He and I know each other from the club, socials and gatherings, but we're really never buddy-buddy. One day I heard him on the ISS, but he couldn't hear me because his antennas pointed to the north and he had a better, stronger signal into the ISS. But he has his daughter call out for him because she's a little, a female and a girl, KI7YRC. And like later, 2 hours later, I called him on the phone, or I caught him on the local club repeater. And I'm like, were you just on the ISS? And he said, yeah, you heard me. So we tease each other all the time. But then that really fired up our friendship on bird chasing and making more contacts. And he kind of drove me into it a little harder too, that after that.
Listen, a female voice or a kid voice or a foreign accent will get through every single time.
He gets pileups.
I mean, we were at field day and I was trying to get this station and I had tried for like 10 minutes and there was a girl sitting beside me. I had been working to go to station and she was sitting there and she wasn't even an operator. I said, here, call out to this station because you're a girl and I'll answer. She called one time, right back to her. I mean, I said, see there? And then, she stayed on the radio forever and just started. And it's the same. I mean, I'm the same way when I'm doing parks on the air and I'll get a pile up. I don't know what it is, but I can hear a YL voice. I can pull their call sign out so fast when they come in there. But now kids are the same way, and foreign accents. One of my buddies at field day actually started using a Russian accent and using the club call, and it was like 6 o'clock in the morning. Everybody was about dead. We hadn't got no contacts in a little bit. And he threw that Russian accent out there, and then for 20 minutes he had a pile up. It was absolutely crazy.
Yeah, he recorded her voice, and he plays that, and then he comes back and answers, and the other party is like, huh? Yeah, this is KI7YRC, QSL. Thank you.
John says when he gets his daughter on the radio calling out for him, he gets a major pile up too.
He does.
That's something I should probably do is probably get my grandson or my granddaughter to just record on my 991A, record them calling CQ Parks on the air. Not that I ever have any problem. I mean, I never have a problem doing parks on the air, but it would probably get them that much faster. Or even just have them throw in my call sign and maybe help me break pile-ups when I'm calling and hunting parks on the air.
It's amazing how people target. Oh, it's a kid. I gotta help the kid. Let's get the kid.
Right. So back to the parks on the air thing, because that's what interests me the most. Is I want to make a satellite parks on the air contact. Is it basically just the same principle as your normal satellite, and you just got to get lucky and hit somebody that's doing it at parks on the air, or?
There's enough of them. I can give you a few call signs that do it, that you would do a park to park with KI7QEK. He's one of them. There's numerous POTA guys that chase birds, and you get on Twitter and key me in and look at some of my friends on Twitter, and you'll see they list where they're going to be, the park they're going to be at, and then you can check the passes of the best bird and make a QSO with them.
Roger that. I mean, that's just something I definitely would be interested in doing. I mean, I'd like to make satellite contacts anyway, but for me to get some POTA contacts, I mean, POTA's just obsessed my life. I was telling you earlier, my first activation was the 21st of March of this year, and I plan on doing every park in the state of West Virginia this year, and I'm going to do it. I mean, the month of August and September, both of them, I've got over 20 activations at different parks in West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm killing it.
Yeah, I don't hear you on Zello much anymore.
No, that's because I'm 24/7. And I mean, normally, especially on weekends, like this weekend, I'll probably go out and do 6 parks, and I may drive 200 or 300 miles here in my state to get 6 parks.
You got to admit, though, our DMR setup with Zello and lining people up and then holding them for the next person and passing them down the line, keeping everyone else blocked out, kind of aided us in getting newer countries.
It did. And, there's people that'll do that on parks in the air too. Like I'll be in a park activating and guys are the worst. Guys will get their YLs to call out, and their YLs will be actually a contact, and then they'll say, okay, please hold for my husband. And then they'll hand it over to him. Which it doesn't matter, you're getting 2 contacts anyway, but it's just funny because they'll put their wives up to doing the call out because they know that it's going to go through.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, we got any more questions here for Andy? I'm not going to keep him all night here. See if we got any more. Hey, John, I appreciate you coming out. It's about time you come out and watch my channel. It's a shame I had to get Andy on here to get you to come out and watch me. Yeah, Joseph Collins. I know. I got to get on 20 meter. I'm working on getting. I'm off tomorrow. I might try to get the new antenna up for 20 meter tomorrow, and that'll help me get some 20 meter contacts. And but from the house, but out at the park, I'm going to have to get up really high to get out on 20 meter. I have done 20 meter at a few of the parks and got a few contacts, but it just don't work well in West Virginia. I killed it in Florida. When I was in Florida, I stayed on 20 meters, but I'll try some 20 meter this weekend for you there, Joseph. I know you got me in ham alert. Andy Keith said it's been fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on.
Well, the ISS is coming over in 3 minutes. If someone wants me to try it.
If the ISS is coming over in 3 minutes, we're definitely going to see if you can get a contact here live on the show. That would be great.
Okay, it's a distance. It's 3 minutes away. It is 2,257 miles away. It's 261 miles in the height. It's located at 136.32 longitude, 17.78 latitude, and it's to the south, so John won't be able to get in there. If it was to the north, he and I could have a quick QSO. But let me tune up my radio. And with the ISS and all the problems they've been having with fires and smoke from the Russian side, sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off. If I can cover again, go to ariss.org, and that will show you all the information on the International Space Station, which is also known as ARISS. And if you go to amsat.org, amsat.org, there's a satellite status box, and you can look, and bird chasers will report whether the bird was good, they didn't hear the bird, and you can see the activity on the satellites and figure out which satellite you want to chase or not. I'm going to turn my squelch up here. No, I won't, not yet. We're 2 minutes and 9 seconds away. 2 minutes, 9 seconds away. It's to the south. It's coming in at 0. Maximum elevation will be 13.9, and it's leaving at 0. So I'm going to have to get up and get my satellite pointed in the right area. We're 1 minute and 47 seconds away. This is what I'm getting a glare. So you can see the satellite, the ISS. It's in the red on the bottom. It's going to go up to the yellow. The blue dot to the top is me in Tacoma. And I'll go squelch here after it's in the AO. And I'm pointing to the south. Go back to my radar. I'm good there. I'm not saying we'll hear it, but we might. So 1 minute and 9 seconds. I'll watch John go outside and turn his antenna around and make a QSO with us. He'll have to manually do it though. He's probably climbing the tree right now. 54 seconds. And we might hear something. Probably a lot of California, maybe some Mexico. 44 seconds. And 36 seconds, and I'm going with squelch now. Can you hear that okay, John? Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
So when the green hits the blue dot, is when we may hear something. Start time, 9-minute duration. That doesn't work that well. I'm going to turn the recorder on. I'm recording. That's the radar that I use. Kilo Echo 7, Romeo Tango Bravo, charted November 87. Slow, clear, concise. Phonetics are very important. If I said KE7RTB, I get a KE7RTV. Here comes. Kilo Echo 7, Romeo Tango Bravo, charted November 87. There's somebody there. Kilo Echo 7, Romeo Tango Bravo, charlie November 87. Romeo Tango Bravo again. Kilo Echo 7, Romeo Tango Bravo, charted November 87, QSL.
November Echo Fox Delta, Whiskey Lima 7 Tango. Copy the Charlie Nancy 93, November 6, Echo Fox Delta.
Whiskey 7 Lima Tango, Kilo Echo 7, Romeo Tango Bravo.
Shot Delta Kilo Charlie 2, Lima Mike.
Whiskey 7 Lima Tango, Kilo Echo 7, Romeo Tango Bravo. Whiskey 7 Lima Tango, Kilo Echo 7, Romeo Tango Bravo, Charlie November 87.
TN6 EFD, Delta Mike 03.
That's California.
66 BXT, Kilo Charlie 2, Lima Mike.
Whiskey 7 Lima Tango, Kilo Echo 7, Romeo Tango Bravo.
Delta Mike 4, AK6 BXT. 66 BXT, Kilo Charlie 2, Lima Mike.
Kilo Echo 7, Romeo Tango Bravo.
Lima Mike, Kilo Charlie 2, Lima Mike.
So busy. Everyone is on there.
Foxtrot Delta, November 7, Lima Sierra, Delta Mike 48. Lima Sierra, copy N6 EFD, Delta Mike 03.
Whiskey 7 Lima Tango, Kilo Echo 7, Romeo Tango Bravo. Whiskey 7 Lima Tango, Kilo Echo 7, Romeo Tango Bravo.
7L SKB 6L2I 73. 73, Christy, 73.
Whiskey 7 Lima Tango, Kilo Echo 7, Romeo Tango Bravo.
Delta November 13.
Whiskey 7 Lima Tango, Kilo Echo 7, Romeo Tango Bravo. So I'm changing the frequency for Doppler. Kilo Echo 7, Romeo Tango Bravo, Charlie November 87. Okay, I shut it down. It's getting out of the AOS. Another thing I didn't talk about was full duplex. I am not running full duplex. So I jump in and key when I hear an opening, but as soon as I unkey, you hear there's other people in there because the bird is saturated with people. Strongest guy gets in. Whiskey 7 Lima Tango is from Alaska, and he's in that hard to get grid. He's in Charlie November 9-3 right now. But he's going to work that whole coastline tomorrow, the next day, and the next day, and hopefully I can acquire him one or every time he's up there. Am I still on?
Yeah, you're still here.
So did that come through most of those stations? Yeah,
I mean it came through real good. I'm pretty sure a lot of people was pretty stoked about it. And then John started talking about your T-shirt.
Yeah, my wife makes those if anyone wants them.
But yeah, that was real good stuff. I was pretty stoked to hear that, man.
That was I was a lot busier pass than I thought. It was a 13-degree pass, and it's over 1,100 miles away now. But from 700 to 400 miles, you heard a good 4 minutes of craziness.
Yeah, like I wasn't expecting it to last that long. Not at all.
Yeah, it's you get in, get off, and get out.
Roger that. Awesome stuff. All right, guys. It's coming up at the end of the live stream. I appreciate everybody. The chat was good and full. A lot of action tonight. Real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to 22 Mile Prepper for last week's tip jar contribution, and Dwayne is our newest Patreon member. So shout out to him. And if you want a lot more interaction with the Ham Radio Adventure Guy, make sure and check out my Patreon. Actually, give me about an hour after the stream because I'm going to lower the top 2 tiers in case you want one of them. But make sure and check it out. Marty says great info, Andy. And
Thank you.
I appreciate everybody. And until next time, thanks for sharing my adventure with me, guys. Andy, do your sign off.
This is Kilo Echo 7, Romeo Tango Bravo, Tacoma, Washington, United States of America, 73.
Love that. Later, guys.